our nervous system is dysregulated, we have to know, well, what causes us to get out of regulation? And some of the possibilities that I think is we're not able to recharge. We are on this hamster wheel, and there are a lot of things that are moving through. How do we slow down to the speed of life and really make time for those quiet moments to really truly honor us? And first, I want to just introduce you to a very simple thing that you can do. Hey loves, do me a quick favor and hit the subscribe or follow button wherever you are tuning into this. It helps grow the show more than you know. Thank you so much again, and enjoy. Today, as we wind down towards the end of the year, I want to talk about your mental health and your emotional health. And I know that during the holidays, as we get into the holiday season or end of year, many times we are working on some of our own shadows, some of our own insecurities that come up, some of our own breakdowns, some things that maybe might not be or no longer be resonant with you. Maybe you're realizing that you are also kind of slowing down. Towards the end of the year, we tend to cocoon. And in Ayurveda, we talk about the 3 doshas. And it's also true that there is a seasonality component. At the end of the year, the weather is starting to change. We are starting to hibernate more because it is cooler outside, and the days are getting shorter. And also, we may want to cocoon and go inward. It is not surprising that many times, especially around the bigness of the holidays and the hustle and bustle and doing all of the things, you may feel low energy, or you may feel like, oh, I don't really want to go, or you may feel like, okay, FOMO, because you don't want to miss out, but you're not tuning to the needs of what your soul wants. You're not tuning to the needs of what your body wants. You're not tuning to the needs of what you are actually really desiring for yourself. Because around this time, it's supposed to be happy and joyful and joyous. And some of us, and many of us watching The Brave Table, we also have kids. So how can we also attune to our needs when there is this fast-pacedness of life? And I want to show you in 10 minutes a day what you can do to really reset your nervous system, because there has been this surge of nervous system work and really understanding how our nervous system gets regulated. Well, in order to understand how our nervous system is dysregulated, we have to know what causes us to get out of regulation, what causes us to become dysregulated. And some of the possibilities that I think so often we take for granted is this go fast pace. We're not able to recharge. We are just going through the motions. We are on this hamster wheel. We have, and especially at the end of the year when work is piling up and there are a lot of to-dos, you want to be able to make, the last quarter count, et cetera, maybe at the end of the month. And there are a lot of things that are moving through. Maybe people are wanting to get together, their school projects, end of the year projects, etc. Life can feel really big. So how do we slow down to the speed of life and really make time for those quiet moments to really truly honor us? And first, I want to just introduce you to a very simple thing that you can do. And for those of you who have been following me for a while, this is so easy because it activates your vagus nerve. And our vagus nerve is responsible for getting us back into harmony, getting us back into balance with our nervous system, getting us back into just that comfort, that nourishment that oftentimes we neglect when we're on the road running, when we're on the road facing outward, when we are checking those emails and we are on other people's timeline. And we're probably excited about it. We're probably so enthusiastic about it. It probably brings us joy until it doesn't, until we're so burnt out on a Sunday, but you know you have to go to this thing because you said yes to it and you don't want to let anybody down and so on and so forth. And you know how this ends. All right, loves. I see you. 98% of you watching right now are not subscribed, and that's totally cool, and I so appreciate it. But if you're enjoying this episode, if this is dropping valuable content for you, then why not join our fam? By subscribing, you'll never miss a beat, especially on the amazing tips, advice, and insights that we have on our incredible guests from around the world. Plus, you'll get a chance to win some incredible prizes, and it's absolutely free. It keeps us connected to everything that we're doing and helps us get even more and more incredible guests. And it would mean the world to me if you could just hit the subscribe button, and I promise to make you even more valuable content. And then you're kicking yourself because you're going to bed so late, and then it starts off that week and that cycle because that Monday you're then rushing again to get to your office, and it's go, 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 go. And so how can we really tune into our needs? Well, the first thing that I want to make you aware of is you can have this at any point in time. And the first thing is closing your eyes and taking your hand and putting it over your heart. And just take a deep breath in for me. And allow yourself to just melt. Melt into the space. If you are driving right now and you are listening to this, please don't close your eyes, but just connect with yourself. So often we need a physical representation for tuning into our heart. It's also that connection, that oxytocin that we can give back to ourselves. And when we are also hugging other people, it takes 30 seconds to allow ourselves in an embrace with somebody else to release the connection hormone of oxytocin. That connection hormone definitely helps soothe our nervous system. It helps us bring us back to balance. So maybe if you are going to those parties, those gatherings, or maybe you're seeing your kid in the afternoon or in the evening, go ahead and give them a really tight squeeze, a tight hug, and hold it for 30 seconds. If you're not used to giving heart-to-heart hugs, then I highly recommend it because they are so juicy. If you're doing it to friends or colleagues or people that are like the tappers where they just tap on your back, then maybe this is something that you can shift. It's that heart-to-heart connection touch, because it's that touch that oftentimes we so need in order to feel that nervous system regulation, to soothe ourselves, to come back to a balance in ourselves that we don't often get. And hugs you can get at any place, especially in this crazy time. We can actually allow ourselves to prioritize this. So definitely get your hugs on. It is probably the most underrated thing that you can actually get that actually helps your nervous system. And you can do this within less than 10 minutes a day, especially when it's so fast paced. All right, the next thing that I want to move on to is as you are sitting in your car, maybe you're driving and you're doing drop-offs and pickups. Maybe you are going on long car rides where you usually listen to a podcast like ours, or maybe you're talking to a friend, or you're tuning out to some great music, because these are all incredible hacks that you can do to soothe your nervous system. But there's one more element that I want to add to that is I want you to create your playlist where you are singing to these songs. Recently in my household, I realized that, driving in traffic for sometimes hours at a time, now shuffling my kids from one activity to the other activity to the other activity, and it honestly gets so exhausting. The other day, I feel like we were in traffic for 3 hours on a Friday. It was absolutely bananas. And I realized that with a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, the only thing that we can do, and because I didn't want them to be on screens, although I was tempted, was to pull out my imaginary karaoke mic. And each of us got a turn to sing our songs, and we just went around and around and around. And this honestly was for 3 hours. And they absolutely loved it. Well, guess what? That is also helping us connect back to our nervous system, because those positive feelings of dopamine, because you're learning something and you're doing something that's motivating, and the oxytocin, because you're also allowing yourself to connect and bond with the little ones in your car or wherever you're at for that matter. And then the serotonin, which is the feel-good hormones. And well, the endorphins, we're not really moving, but at least you have the first out of the 4, which are increasing and elevating those brain chemicals that make you feel really, really good. Not only that, it allows yourself to activate the parasympathetic system, which is the opposite of the active sympathetic system. It allows you to get in that rest state. And you might be saying, well, how is singing a resting state? Well, it's definitely not a stressful state. And so our body knows, our nervous system knows when we are in fight or flight. And we are just allowing it to be a little bit more calm, because this is that sensation, the vagus nerve that runs from our brain all the way to our toes. And when we activate it through singing or chanting or buzzing or humming, we're allowing ourselves to really, truly experience that juiciness. So yes, I'm asking you to play, and I've been jamming to 90s slow jams recently, and my R&B tracks, and all of the music that I was singing in early 2000s for that matter. And so I've got my R&B playlist, and I'm introducing my kids to some of them until and unless, I listen to the lyrics, and then I'm like, oh gosh, we probably shouldn't be listening to that. But they're having fun with it, and we were having fun with it, and instantly, and this takes less than 10 minutes, 3 songs, and you're golden. And you're practicing your singing skills, and you're practicing being more expressed, because you are toning and you're allowing your voice and your tonality to shine through, which is a beautiful exercise in and of itself. If you have not tried this, and you might say, oh, Neeta, I'm a bad singer, or I don't really sing, I don't have that kind of a voice. We are all inherently able to be expressive beings. That's who we are. And we're not saying we're going to be the next Taylor Swift or Adele, but we can definitely tune into our own tonality and voice, because that's how we are able to unlock our truth. And those are the beginning steps. But we have to create a safety and a safe space for it. So why not start singing those tunes that make you come alive? So make that playlist, and in less than 10 minutes, you can definitely come back and notice your body, come back and notice how less stressed you're feeling with all of the to-dos and the things to do, and maybe that you're running late because you're not in your mental mind. You're not in your emotional mind of ruminating on, this person didn't invite me to this, or this person I feel slighted by, or this person didn't acknowledge me and I feel so hurt about this. You're not even in your emotional body. You're just in tune with your nervous system. And in order to calibrate our nervous system when things feel so heightened and sometimes even out of our control, this is the best way. All right, the last thing that I want to introduce you to is making a list. Maybe in your mind, maybe on your notes app, maybe WhatsApping it to yourself. I like to do this, but I tend to leave voice notes for people that I love. And I try to, this is one, to build connection, either with people that I haven't spoken to in a really long time, or that have been on my mind, but I haven't, for whatever reason, life is lifing and you just don't get a chance to. But I've found this is so profound for building quality friendships and quality relationships, because guess what? Mama, you're not the only one that's busy. Everyone is busy. And there is a season of life where you probably will need to lean on those friendships. And I'm such a big proponent of community and friendships because we cannot do this life alone. And you might say, yes, but I'm in the throes of motherhood. I'd rather listen to your podcast or watch your podcast on YouTube and then figure out 3 people who I need to connect with. But maybe it's 2. Maybe it's that one person. But I want to invite you to do this because it does take less than 10 minutes a day. And studies show that when we are actually pouring into other people, we're also planting those seeds for that relationship to grow. And what we water in our lives tends to grow. So if we're only watering our side of the street in our families or with our significant other, and we're forgetting all of the beautiful people and humans who have maybe been on our path in some way, or maybe we want to get to know a little bit deeper, or maybe you're like, well, Neeta, I don't know if I have friends right now. I've just been in such business building mode or mom mode. Hey, it can change at any time. You can start nurturing and nourishing these friendships just by leaving a simple voice note. A simple voice note of appreciation. Appreciation is the highest on the scale of highest frequencies. And it's either appreciation and joy and gratitude. Those are at the top. And if we are operating from that place, we can manifest and attract abundance and be a magnet for that. Meaning that anything that's on our mind, anything that's in our heart, that is consuming our thoughts, that's consuming our mind, can be wiped away just by accessing gratitude and appreciation. Well, how do we do this? Well, it's by planting these seeds of, hey, Anjali, it's been a really long time, leaving them a voice note. I just wanted to tell you that I've been thinking about you, and I know it's been a while since we've chatted and a while since we've spoken, but you've been on my mind, and I just appreciate the fact that we've had some really amazing moments together. How are you doing? Let me know how it's going, and I would love to hear from you. As simple as that. We are in a society now that is so disconnected more than ever. We are in a society now that prioritizes all of the to-dos and the chase, and it's more like transactional relationships rather than deep soul friendships. And there's nothing wrong with transactional relationships, but for me, honestly, I'm going to be brave and say I'm in a season of, if I like you and if we've built a relationship, then maybe we'll do something together, but that's not my MO. Maybe in my 20s, that was my MO. Maybe in my early 30s, that was the case. But in this season, I'm just not for that. I'm here to be on the long-term road. And if down the line, we really enjoy each other and we want to do something together, then great. But I don't know. This is kind of that season. So I want to invite you to think where you can offer this sense of gratitude and appreciating other people. We're so used to waiting to be appreciated by others, but why don't we pour into others in the way we would like to be poured into? Because not only that, we are also activating our parasympathetic nervous system by tuning into our vagus nerve, which helps us regulate our nervous system, but it's also helping us build those relationships. And when we're feeling down, when we're feeling lonely, when we are feeling so disconnected, when things are kind of just wacky, this kind of gives us a sense of perspective that we're not alone because we're reaching out to somebody else. And maybe in that reach out and maybe in that voice note, you're also saying, hey, I'm not doing well. I could really use a friend right now. Hey, I'm just going through this season. And in this act of being vulnerable, what does it do for somebody else? It allows somebody to be there for you. But it takes somebody brave to go first. If we want honest friends, we've got to be honest. And sometimes that honesty can shoo away or piss off people who aren't ready for your bigness, who aren't ready for your light. And you want to be able to be okay with that. But overall, I think I've given you 3 easy, to do strategies that are not just the mundane journal and breath work and meditation, because, fam, we go deeper than that on the Brave Table. I'm asking you to actually be vulnerable. And to be vulnerable means we have to go a step deeper. We have to let out our full expressions. We have to let out our silliness. We have to let out our goofiness. We have to allow ourselves to be in that play, because it's not always about what is the next thing. It's about also tuning into what we are feeling as of right now. And it is okay to feel the stress and the anxiety and the overwhelm and still want to go to all of the holiday functions and all of the things that is happening and keeping a full and busy schedule. But the fact that you're honoring both of those feelings that can coexist and then tuning into how you're actually feeling, that's a fully integrated approach. And we're not bypassing any feelings on that front. So I invite you to see what comes up for you as you navigate this. And yeah, this was just something that's been on my mind and I really wanted to share. And so if this has been helpful for you, or if this has sparked something that you haven't been doing, or that you're like, oh my gosh, 90s tunes, I haven't done that in a long time, I'm going to do that. So comment below if you're watching this on YouTube what you're going to try. If you have tried it, tag a story of yourself and tag the Brave Table or Neeta Bhushan. If you were karaoke singing in the car, we are still looking for some karaoke mics to have in the car. So if you have your favorite one, go ahead and link the links in YouTube or tag us at the Brave Table at Neeta Bhushan as well. And also, now, if you are watching this for the first time, what are you waiting for? Please hit subscribe. It helps us grow the show more than you know, and it helps us get into the hands of more and more people. And I'm so honored to take you down this path. If somebody sent this to you, I just want to say welcome. This is your family. This is your destination. This is your oasis. And if you haven't already written a 5-star review, it helps us grow the show more than you would ever know. And I truly, truly appreciate that. And if you do send your 5-star review to support@globalgrit.co, support@globalgrit.co, we will send you a free gift. So thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to be just a little bit more brave.